All right, so I'm going to have my screen running here, and we are going to look at some zero DTE. Everybody wants to smoke zero DTE pipe this morning. So let's see. Now, I know Tom does zero DTE out of the money spreads with no really waiting for anything specific here. I am going to look at a 5-minute chart of SPX to see which way the wind is blowing. It looks like we have, we're still trying to establish open range, which is going to show up and set in just about another 7 minutes or so. And to me right now, it looks like this is a very early sell signal. Momentum is kind of rolling over. So I think this is actually a good setup for a butterfly, because if we have momentum kind of rolling over, so to speak, the risk to the upside is not as great. When we start to ramp higher, that's the real problem for an iron butterfly. So I think butterfly is here. S&P is at 39.12, so maybe center one at like 39.15. I wouldn't set it behind. I would set it at 39.15, maybe use a 30, 40 point wing. And I think this one's going to pay out quick. All right, so let's see. We could go with a 39.15. So selling a 39.15 and buying a 39.45. So that's a 30 wide. And on the downside, we're buying 38.85. So I see a net. So for a 30 wide, I'm getting a credit of 14.10. I mean, there's not a whole lot of premium available, and that is the reason for that. So I typically like to put on iron butterflies where, you know, if it's a 30 wide, I want to be as close, as far as credit goes, I want to be as close as possible to about 50% of the width. So if I'm doing a 30 wide, I want to get a credit of as close to 15 as possible. Right now, this butterfly is showing a credit for 14, and that's what I'm going to try. All right, so I see a mid price of 13.90. I'm at 1400 for the 30 wide. With no fills, mid is now at 14, and I'm not getting a fill. So I'll let it hang out for a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to chase it too much, but we'll see if I can get in at, so I'm at 39.15 with 38.85 and 39.45 wings. So that's a 30 wide, and S&P is starting to push higher. Momentum is still, you know, these blue bars telling me that momentum is not on the downside, but we're seeing upwards movement with less momentum. I still think that this is a good market condition for something like an iron butterfly, because if we do drift higher and then eventually, as momentum rolls over, we dip back towards 39.15 is where my short strike is. I think that's going to play into my hand, and I will be able to get out of this trade fairly quick. But in order to get out of the trade, first I need to get into this trade, and I am not getting a fill. I see that the mid price is now at 13.80. I'm going to shift. All right, I'm going to cancel this. All right, I canceled that order. Let's see if I could get in. Zero DTE centered at 39.10. All right, so I'm selling a 39.10 call. I'm selling a 39.10 put, and I'm going to buy a 30-point wing on the downside. So I'm buying a 38.80 put, and I'm buying a 39.40 call. So 38.80, 39.10, 39.40 is a 30-point wide, and I see mid price at $15.30. And that butterfly is going to be about 5 points behind where the market is right now. So I am in at $15.30. We are in 15.30 credit. I'm going to try to squeeze maybe 50 cents if I can real quick and get out. I know we typically go for about $1.50, which is awesome. So if I was targeting $1.50, if I took in $15.30 minus 1.5, my exit, my targeted price to exit would be a 13.80 debit to close, right? If I sold it for 15.30, I want to close it for 13.80, keeping $1.50 on this Iron Butterfly. Now, if I have my stop at a break even, right? What's my upside break even? I take 39.10 is where my short strike is, and I add $15.30. My upside break even is 39.25. So if I hit 39.25, it's time to say goodbye, close out this trade, and get out. Same thing on the downside. My downside break even, if my short strike is at 39.10 minus 15.30, my downside break even is 38.95. So if we hit 38.95 on the downside, it's time to say no more, get out, and move on. So that's the idea. And if nothing happens, if we don't hit any one of those break evens on the upside or on the downside, I will then try to capture anything between 50 cents to $1.50 and get out of this trade. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to put a bunch of orders to manage positions that I have for this week, and I'll leave my screen running, but I will be back in just a couple of minutes. All right, so I got a fill to close my Iron Butterfly for a 50-cent profit. I was in 15.30 credit. 15.80 was my exit. I took 50 cents. Now I know that we usually wait for $1.50 and all that. That's great, and it could probably still get that if I hold it long enough. I see the mid now for this butterfly at $14.60. So there's about 70-cent profit, which is about a half of the 150 targeted. I know that waiting is a big part of this business that nobody wants to do. But if you are patient enough, you could potentially make more. And as I mentioned earlier, right, we saw this drift higher on weakening momentum. This is not bearish by any means, but it told me that we may not see a big move higher without an increase in momentum. So I felt confident going slightly behind the market on the price of the Iron Butterfly, and as momentum still kind of weakening, we got just literally 2 bars later, right? So I was in somewhere on this bar at 940, I believe. And then we had 1 bar higher, and then the very next bar that came back towards the short strike of my Iron Butterfly, I was able to scrape 50 cents out of this trade, and I'm going to move on to tend to a million other things that I have to do today.